So, in case you haven't heard, there is a brand new EV fast charging company coming to North America. It's a consortium made up of BMW, GM, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, Mercedes, and Stellantis. They're all getting together to basically do what Tesla was wise enough to do many years ago to build out an EV charging network, a fast charging network across North America. So the question is, Ionna, what are you going to give us, and what do we want from you? It's Tuesday, February 13th, 2024. Let's get to it. Hey, before we get to the video, I've reminded you guys about this a few times, but here it is again. Look at that one. Zero emissions, 100% SaaS. That's right, baby. Merch is coming. I know I've had some questions about when is it coming, when am I going to be able to buy some of this stuff. Surprisingly enough, I've actually had people ask me that. I didn't think anyone would even care. So I'm thrilled that you do. But this is like my second job that I don't get paid for. So I have to find the time to finish setting up the site, but almost done. Hopefully this weekend I'll have some time and I'll get it all put together for you. But don't forget, EV Awesome merch is on the way, and that is EV Awesome. And, now you can go to the video. So, awesome news. We have a new DC fast charging company entering the market in North America, a company called Ionna. And this was announced back in last summer that these automakers were getting together to create this company in North America. It took them several months to get regulatory approval. They now have that, and so now they're here, ready to start operations. And they just appointed a CEO, a gentleman by the name of Seth Cutler. Pretty impressive background, looks like. Looked him up on LinkedIn. He comes from EV Connect. He at one time worked at Electrify America, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think what he did there actually was pretty impressive towards the beginning, from what I understand. But he also seems to have some supply chain background, which is great because that's where I come from. And so hopefully, maybe he'll be on the same wavelength as someone like me who understands what it takes to deploy equipment in the field and to keep it up and running and to manage the software, the hardware, technicians, all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully that will all work. Now, as I said, I come from supply chain. The company I work for, we deploy industrial vending machines into manufacturing plants all over the country. And if you don't know what those are, it's just a fancy vending machine for industrial products, right? But they're very similar to EV fast charging in the sense that they're machines that are usually 5 to 6 feet tall, have a touch screen, computer inside, where we control them remotely. They're in very harsh environments, different in the sense that they're in manufacturing plants and they have a lot of moving parts, whereas DC fast chargers don't. But same kind of idea. Machinery, dispensers that are placed in harsh environments. For us, it's manufacturing plants covered in dust and grease and oil and nastiness and people that abuse the hell out of the machines, that dirty hands. They use the butt end of hammers to smack on the touch screens and the keypads, and the machines just get abused. And our policy is to keep them up 24/7, 365, and we do that. We have an uptime rate of well above 95%. EV fast charging, harsh environments, they're out in the cold, they're out in the heat. The public is not always the most kind to those machines. People tend to beat on them. They'll punch on the touch screens and they drop the cables and break them. And so I think in a lot of ways it's very similar. And so I can tell you that it can be done. Like, these machines can be kept up and running. And anytime something breaks, within 24 hours, it can be fixed. It's just you have to have the will to do it. So, Ionna, that is my hope and wish for this company, that number one, more than anything else, uptime, uptime, uptime. If these machines are always working, that's the only way to compete with Tesla. They've set the bar way up here, right? Their machines, their dispensers, if one of them goes down, it's usually 24 hours, it's back up. I mean, they just take care of it. And that's where EA's fallen down. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but I think we all know EA has a terrible reputation, and even if they get back on track, it's going to take years to dig out from all that bad, just word of mouth, and just they just have a bad reputation, and it's really hard to turn that around. So I've always thought like, well, if I worked for EA, what would I do to try and fix it, right? But it would be hard because it's already a mess. But you guys with Ionna, you're starting from square one, so you can start the right way. So a core belief has to be 95% plus uptime. If that's a core piece of your business that you just feel like, that is the number one thing for us, is that our chargers are working all the time, you'll be successful. And just a commitment to that. And what does it take? When you install at any site, it's got to be part of the site plan. If anything goes down at this site, can we have it fixed in 24 hours? Do we have people in place, contractors in place, whatever it is, to be able to get whatever might go bad back up in 24 hours? Because things break, right? I mean, touchscreens break. People, like I said, people are going to drop the cables on the ground. They don't care. People are rude, and they don't treat other people's things with any respect, right? I think we all know that. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. Like if you get a report that of a broken cable, can you fix it within 24 hours? That should be just part of your DNA of your company, is to get everything back up and running 24 hours or less. And I think everything else that you do, if it follows that, will be successful. That being said, though, I would say like anything less than 8 stalls at any site is just not enough. I would think most of the time 12 to 24, again, to be like Tesla. And they're really good at doing surveys of the area to sort of have a really good understanding of what is required in each individual area, like how many stalls will work for the number of population, vehicles sold, all that stuff. So however that's all done, I would think, though, thinking future state, not just where are we today, but where are we going to be 5, 10, 15 years from now, these sites need to be built. I think today 8 is the minimum, and there should usually be room for probably 8 to 20 more, right? I mean, I would think that's the way to go. And again, it depends on the area. If you're in a major metro area like, New York City, the surrounding area, Boston, the surrounding area, you're probably going to do way more. If you're building at a major interstate junction, like say where 95 meets 91, or 495 meets 95, you're probably put a big hub, maybe 50, 100. Tesla's looking at building like a site in California with something like 160 stalls. So again, it depends on the area, but don't underdo it, overdo it now. That's why Tesla is so good, because when they started putting in their chargers, they overdid it. They overdid it so that they wouldn't have lines. They wouldn't have people waiting. And whenever they find sites where people are waiting, what happens? All of a sudden, you start to see more sites pop up. That's the way to do it. I think they already announced, though, Ionna already announced that their sites will have canopies. That's outstanding. Canopies well lit. It just makes it more inviting. I mean, on a rainy day, to not have to get soaking wet to get out and charge your car. On a hot, sunny day, to just have a little bit of shade. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. Especially for the average driver, it's a big deal. Locations with amenities, I think that's, everybody knows it's kind of important. If it's going to be a standalone site, like in a parking lot somewhere, is it in a parking lot where there's 24-hour access to restrooms? Because, not everybody is going to be there charging between 8 and 7, 8 a.m., 7 p.m. There might be people rolling through at 1 a.m. where, the Walmart might not be open, or the mall that it's at might be closed. And, what if you need to pee? You don't want to have to go around the bushes and make sure no one's watching and, peeing in the trees or something. Like, nobody wants to be doing that. So at the minimum, I would think 24-hour restroom access is probably important, but also just being able to, is there a Dunkin' or a McDonald's or that you can see and walk to quickly? Like if it's cold or it's raining, you won't feel like, that's too far to go. That's kind of important. Obviously, nothing less than 350 kilowatts. I don't think you guys will do that, but it just makes no sense. I know Nevi requires 150 kilowatts or more, but why cheap out and go anywhere where it's 150? It should be 350 min. Again, thinking future state, not current state, right? And credit card readers that work. I mean, go to the gas pumps. What kind of credit card readers do they use? Because those always work, and the ones on EV chargers never work. So instead of cheaping out on these crappy junk credit card readers that don't work, spend a little extra and get good ones that do work. People will appreciate that. Now, yes, having an app and being a member and being able to do plug and charge, that's ideal. Not everyone's going to do that though, and you have to keep in mind that not everyone's going to do that. So making it easier for those people who just want to pay with a credit card, because I don't understand it, but I know people that I'm not downloading another app. I already have too many apps on my phone. I'm not downloading another app for this or that. So there's just some people that are just like that. They don't want to do it. So make it easy for them to pay without having to be a member of your app or your program or whatever it is to do plug and charge. Let them be able to pay with a credit card, but make sure the credit card reader works, right? Just like the charger. As long as it works, people will be happy. Having a good app that not only shows the location of your chargers, but whether they're in use, down. Hopefully down is very rare, but it should show that on the app. And not only the location of your chargers, but anyone else's chargers. Because let's be honest, no matter how many you put in, you're not going to be everywhere. Or maybe someone's driving down, they're on a road trip and they're like, I got to charge, and all the Ionna chargers are being used right now. Is there another option? It's a little thing, but I know from all my years in business, and I think most people that deal with customers could tell you that there's times where you don't have the inventory for something, or you don't sell that particular brand or product that your customer might be looking for. And you never want to send customers to your competition, but if you can't help them out, just leaving them hanging high and dry, that doesn't help them. Being able to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can't get you that, but this guy down the street, this company down the street, they have it. They sell that. You could go there and you can get a decent price. And you're not going to lose that customer. They're going to come back to you because you helped them out. So I think giving people that little bit of extra info, so just saying, yeah, here's where our chargers are. Oh, in this area, we don't have any, but, EA does, or EV Go, or EV Connect. They do have chargers here. That's just a little thing, but it can go a long way. And I would say maybe even partner with a company like ChargeWay. Their app is outstanding. And, maybe just on the mapping portion of it or whatever, but I would say I would work with somebody like that already knows how to do it and get a seamless and, an app that just, works beautifully and is better than everybody else's. That should be as important as the credit card reader thing, like an app that just works, right? That, again, that Tesla level of quality, right? Apple level of quality. Look at it that way. If you're talking about an app, does it meet Apple's standards of high quality? And then the last thing, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I like to think that it's a good idea because I came up with it, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure other people have talked about this. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but we have so many empty malls and like anchor stores all over the country now because, e-commerce is taking over, right? So there's all this empty space all over the country. Why not go to like a dead mall or a mall that, is only half open and they have like one of these big, used to be a Sears or an old J.C. Penney or something that's gone. It's just big, empty, open space, and put in indoor charging. Just like Electrify America was doing in San Francisco, they just opened up that indoor charger. Well, do that on a large scale. You could put in one of those places, you could put in 20, 30, 50 charging spots and really like how much renovation really needs to be done. I mean, on the inside, you're driving cars in there, so it's not like you have to have pristine, beautiful marble floors or anything. You just need to, it needs to just be clean, and you can put a lounge in there, vending machines, 24-hour restroom access. And if there are, some restaurants or other shops inside the mall that still are operating, you can give people access from indoors to go into the rest of the mall when it's open to be able to grab a bite to eat or maybe get something at Target or whatever it is. You give them that ability, and they're inside. It not only keeps them, your users, your drivers, out of the rain and the snow and the weather, keeps your charging infrastructure out of the rain and the snow and the weather. So it'll probably mean less maintenance, maybe even less abuse, because people are inside. And I think sometimes if you're inside, you're a little more conscious of maybe people seeing what you're doing, and maybe you won't beat the hell out of the machines because they're not outside. I don't know. It's just an idea. And to me, it's like in a lot of these places, you have a lot of empty parking spots as well. So you could even put more chargers outside if to have more, or even a whole bunch of level 2 chargers for people that are at that mall or maybe going in to have a bite to eat, or they're going to be in shopping for a while. They can plug into level 2, charge up for a bit. And a lot of these old malls and everything are right off the highways. They're in convenient locations. So they're the perfect places to put like decent sized charging hubs, because it's, usually you're driving by, you're looking at the mall or the big stores as you're driving past on the highway. They're right there. You get off the highway, roll in, charge up, and then they're back on the road. So I don't know. To me, it seems like a no-brainer, but I'm sure there's things I'm not thinking of. But and I would think those property owners, I mean, if you just have some big empty store that it's not earning you any income, just sitting there empty, they'd probably be more than happy to be like, hey, yeah, come on in, rent my property, put your chargers in. So it just seems like it's a win-win. So, I don't know, maybe I should have kept that idea to myself and started my own company, but I'm not planning to do that. But you guys are. So there you go. There's your free idea for me. So Ionna, I have high hopes for you guys. I hope it works out. I hope you do an awesome job, because we need it. And if you want to start putting chargers in the ground in the Northeast, like in Massachusetts, the Springfield, Massachusetts area to be specific, come on. If they're good and they work, I will scream it from the rooftops, because we need good quality DC fast charging outside of just Tesla. I mean, Tesla's awesome and I love them. And I don't anticipate their quality is going to go down at all. But you can't just have one. And, it's going to be great to have you guys. I hope it all works out. I hope you're able to put charges in the ground real fast and, really start to get out there in the market. And I can't wait. I'm really excited. And I hope it all goes well. And I'm sure it will. I hope it will. And with that, you guys know EVs are awesome, and it's okay to be awesome. I will see you next time. Hey, y'all. Polestar's charging up. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, because we're going on a road trip down to southern Connecticut, my wife and I, to get a brand new kitten. Operation Kitty Cat will commence tomorrow. So stay tuned for the video on how that goes. See you then.